So question 9 says express the given interval as an inequality in terms of x and select the graph on the interval. So go on this one, again, it's a good idea to kind of sketch this out on a number line. So notice that the left bound is -3 and it's open, so we're going to use a parenthesis. And then the right bound is a 9 and it's also going to be a parenthesis. It's going to be open. So as an inequality, what we're going to have it then is this -3 is going to be less than x, which is going to be less than 9. So since these are both open, we cannot include the endpoints. So we use a less than symbol for those. So remember, when you read it, you actually read it from the middle. X is greater than -3, which means you're to the right of -3. And x is less than 9, which means you're left of 9, which means you're in between those two values. So when you write an inequality, as long as you have the left bound and the right bound, both inequality symbols will always be pointing in the same direction. They'll be less than symbols. So again, you're reading it from the middle. X is greater than -3, which means you're to the right of -3, and x is less than 9, which means you're left of 9. So you're between those two values. So from a graphing perspective, notice how, looking at these two graphs, we have 4 graphs here. Yeah, we have 4 graphs actually. So these first two look good, except for we should have an open interval over here as well because of parentheses. We need to have we would need a parenthesis there. So the second one, -3 to 9, notice that those are both open. That one looks pretty good. So this is wrong because they got closed and it's supposed to be opened. We want it to be open, so that one's wrong. If I look at these here, notice how again, this is closed and it needed to be opened. It needed to be a parenthesis. And notice how this one, both ends are closed. So we need parentheses, not brackets. Because if it says closed, that means you're including the endpoint. And notice how in our example, we actually are not including the endpoints. So from a graphing perspective, this would be like an open circle and an open circle. You would not be including the endpoints. So instead of a solid dot, you'd have an open dot, where the open dot means do not include the endpoint. Everything up to that spot, but not the actual endpoint itself, would be part of the inequality.